item that is require a lot of items require definition, and so we will go kind of speed through this thing here, and then when we get to the truth table, I think that's where a lot of you guys need to refresh with the truth table. That's where we will slow down a bit. So reminder, a simple statement is just a simple statement just express a single idea, and again, which is a statement can be either be true or false, right? And again, as long as it's a simple statement, it can be either true or false. And number two, they ask you which of this or all of this thing, is any of this thing a simple statement, which is again, all flower are blue is a qualified statement, but it's also a single statement. Okay, so again, this is true. It's not the sentence is true. They ask you, is this a simple statement, which is a simple statement express one idea. That's why it's true. Same thing go with Baton Rouge is the capital of Mississippi. It's true. It's not the information is true. It's true that it's a simple statement. That's why it's true. Okay, don't mistake that the true here is not the sentence is true or not. It's not the statement is true or false. Is this a simple statement, which is this is a simple statement, right? All blue flowers are lovely because of the word lovely is optional, not optional, opinion. So again, it's kind of opinion wise, so it's not really a statement. Go to Baton Rouge, which is again also is not it's a comment, a command, not an opinion here. Go to Baton Rouge is a command, so that's why it's not a simple statement. And again, am I going to Baton Rouge, which is a question mark, so it's a false, it's not a simple statement. Baton Rouge is the capital of Louisiana, and New Orleans is in Louisiana. It's a simple statement, as you can see, because of the word "and" is a compound sentence. It's not a simple single idea. Negation of a false statement is true, right? Because again, if a false statement, the negation have to be true. And again, to negate this item here, reminder to negate this item here. If your original statement have the word not, you take it out. If your original statement do not have the word not, you insert them in, right? The Pilgrim did not land on Tahiti, which is again, the Pilgrim did land on Tahiti, right? And again, vitamin C help to help the immune system, which is again, it does not help if you just insert them in if they don't have it. Which is again, this is just a reminder of a simple statement, right? And now number 5, which is they ask you to negate a qualified statement. Reminder, qualified statement is still the simple statement, but to negate a qualified statement, which is reminder that this is what you guys have to remember, which is this diagonal diagram, right? If your item is all A or B, then you negate them with some A or not B. And vice versa, if it's no A or B, you negate with some A or B. So again, this thing here, all we, which is all A or B, which is all we or plant, which is we know that the negation will be some that are not, which is some we are not plant, right? Some mammal or horses, which is again, if you remember your test, I think this is one of your test questions. Some mammal or horse, which is the negation will be no mammal or horses, right? And again, some drink are not liquid, which is again, some are not. The negation of this thing will be all drink or liquid, right? This one here is a little bit tricky, which is not all people like football. Reminder, not all people like football is not a qualified statement. Before you can negate them, you have to convert them to a qualified statement, which is to convert this to some qualified statement. Reminder, your qualified statement either start with the word all, does not no, or start with the word some, right? So no, not all people like football, meaning some people do not like football, right? That's the equivalent statement, which is some people do not like football. And what is the negation of some people do not like football, which is all people like football, okay? So again, all people are every single people, but again, every is not a qualified statement. It's equivalent, it's not a qualified statement, right? So again, same thing goes, some athlete or musician, which is again, no athlete or musician. No fifth grader, we did this in class, I believe. No fifth grader play soccer, meaning some fifth grader do play soccer. And some people do not like walking, which is again, if it's some do not, we say all does, right? All people like walking. So again, this is what we have, which is again, in order to negate this thing here, you have to remember, this diagram, which is again, this go back to chapter 3. It's a long time ago. It's before the school closure. So again, just remember this diagram here that we have. And the 4 connector that we have, or if you remember this in chapter 3, the 4 connection, I told you that we only have 4 connection, and the 4 connection are the and, the or, the if and then, and the if and only if, right? And again, this connector to join together would join 2 simple statements together, and we call this 2 simple statement a compound statement because we join them together, right? So again, this is what we have in terms of chapter 3. So again, like I say, it's a lot of memorization in chapter 3, and all of this thing here hopefully is trigger back, bring back those material. I don't think they, well, I take it back. They might ask you about the definition, or they might require you to know the definition in order for you to do the item. So again, P upside down VQ is referred to as a conjunction, right? Again, remember this is my conjunction statement, and the conjunction statement is the word and. Same thing go, this thing here, the word or refer to the disjunction, right? Disjunction, which is again, they just want you to know, remember your symbolic and your word and the terminology, right? And again, one single arrow, this is a conditional statement, and this is the if and then statement. And lastly, this is a biconditional statement, and this is if and only if, which is again, this is just basically remind you the definition of each item and the symbolic of each item, right? They join together, and whatever they join together, we have a specific name for each of the compound statement, which is the conjunction, disjunction, conditional, and a biconditional. Okay, so again, let's take a look at this thing here, which is again, this is what they ask you is, again, they give you this item here, they give you PQ, and they ask you to translate this endless statement into symbolic, right? Which is again, Spartacus is a theme, Rampo is a theme. So again, looking at this thing here, what is a connection here? As you can see, because of the connection is the and, which is again, the symbolic for the and is the upside down V. But the only thing different is Rampo is a theme right here. Rampo is not a theme, which is we have to negate the Q, right? So again, to translate this to symbolic, which is P upside down V, negation of Q. Same thing goes, she drive at 80 miles per hour, she get a speeding ticket. And this one here say if, which is again, if your statement start with the word if, right? We know that this connector is the one single arrow, a conditional statement to the right, which is again, if she drive at 80 miles per hour, then she does not get a speeding ticket, which is again, in this case, everybody see that P single arrow negation of Q. And I think this question here, P, the outside humidity is low. I think this is the one that I give you on the study guide, which is again, reminder, this particular problem is just show you that because of this parenthesis, we have to separate this with a comma, and we have to group them in terms of this thing here, which is again, the air in the outside is getting dry, which is again, that's my or statement. If and only if, which is the biconditional statement, the 2 arrow. Humidity is low and the central humidifier is not running, which is again, looking at this thing here because of the comma. And if it's not a comma, if you remember the rule of dominant, we group the least dominant together, right? The least dominant is the negation and the and or the or, and the if and then, and the biconditional. The biconditional is the most dominant, right? So again, if they don't have a comma, you still group it this way anyway. So again, question with this thing here, which is this example. This example just asks you to